Shelley Winter Show live, local, topical, and relevant. So many people don't know this, but the National Association of Black Journalists Convention is in Atlanta this weekend, and I've got 7 members of NABJ who are upstairs. You guys having a what do you call it? Cocktail reception upstairs, probably put on by a great friend, Constance, who's in corporate here at CMG. So hopefully there's some liquor left when I get off at 9, so I'm going to shoot up there and get a drink or two. But they're in the studio, they're checking us out. They're from other CMG TV and radio stations across the country. So I want to talk really quickly. So many of you who listen to this show know that I got rebaptized. What was it, Trent? 2 Sundays ago?
I think that's what I remember seeing, because I was on vacation and then I saw your Facebook post.
Gotcha.
So I think it was a couple Sundays ago.
So I got rebaptized. Just wanted to renew my faith, renew my vows, my commitment to God, my God, as I understand him. And so got dunked in my church, Word of Faith. Shout out to Bishop Bronner. And people have been asking me, do I feel different? And I don't necessarily feel different because I've always been this guy, right? I can be passionate, I can be mean-spirited on social media. If you come at me, I'm definitely going to defend myself, but I don't feel different, but I view the world differently than I did before I got rebaptized. A lot of what you're hearing me say over the last 2 weeks, I'm softening my tone politically, because what I've come to realize is that many of us have gotten too rambunctious, as my mother used to say, too aggressive. It's easy to get on Facebook and curse people out, call them names. I'm used to being called names as a black conservative, but that's, it's just the world we live in. But a good friend of mine, he's a former state rep. His name is Wes Cantrell. He posted this Facebook post. I'm going to skip around, but I want you to hear what he said. He said, one of the most important, and he posted this with pictures of his time in office with different Democrats, right? And one of the most important lessons I learned during the 8 years in the Georgia House had very little to do with legislation. The person on the other side of an issue is still a person. I served alongside people with whom I disagreed, sometimes strongly. We voted differently. We saw the world differently. We occasionally frustrated each other. But then something interesting happens when you serve alongside people long enough. You learn about their families. You hear about the child they're worried about. You celebrate when their grandchild is born. You pray for them when they're sick. And sometimes you find yourself laughing together in the hallway 5 minutes after arguing on the House floor. Eventually, you realize something our culture desperately needs to remember. Disagreement doesn't have to become dislike. We've gotten pretty good at putting people into categories: Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, right, wrong, us, them. Jesus gave us a much simpler category: neighbor. I've always gotten this right. There were times I probably cared more about winning an argument than understanding the person standing across from me. But I'm trying to get better. Strong convictions matter. Truth matters. But so does the way we treat people who don't share our convictions. One of the reasons I wrote The Job I Never Wanted, this is the book he has out. I've been reading it for him because I'm hoping that he asked me to write a blurb. I'm wondering if I'm kind of halfway brown-nosing right now by sharing his Facebook post to get him to allow me to write the blurb.
It sounds like you're doing a wink, wink, nudge.
Yeah,
nudge.
I am. Because I've done that for 3 books. I want to have a 4th. One of the reasons I wrote The Job I Never Wanted was to tell some of the stories behind those 8 years under the Gold Dome. Not just the votes and political battles, but the people, relationships, mistakes, lessons, and moments that changed the way I think about leadership. This was one of those lessons. If possible, so far as it depends on you, be at peace with all people. Romans 12:18. Maybe our country doesn't need fewer disagreements. Maybe we just need to learn how to disagree without forgetting that the person across from us was made in the image of God. When I read that today, I thought to myself, that's what I've been trying to say for the last several months on this airways, but I couldn't put it together like that. I've been trying to tell people, like, you can be, for instance, for deportations of criminal illegal immigrants. I get that. I voted for that. I'm supportive of that. But when you move ICE into a city and you start snatching up everybody and you start killing American citizens, and then you don't say, oh, wait, this may be wrong, you've lost the ability to be a neighbor to another person. When you see the Iran war, when I was told that we were having no new wars, and then I tell you a story about a Navy deployment that goes 280 days, and I say, hey, are we going to say something about this? Are we going to ask Pete Hegseth questions? Are we going to ask the Secretary of Navy, Navy Secretary Hung Cao questions? Are we going to ask President Trump these questions? What's going on with our sailors? But then you defend it by saying, well, it's not a long time. Well, they got water. Well, they have Zoom. It becomes, we start to say to ourselves, are we still neighbors? I support Rick Jackson for governor. I don't support Keisha. I know Keisha. She's been on the show. I think Keisha's a brilliant, beautiful, I think she'd be a great governor. I just support Rick Jackson. But that doesn't mean I'm going to call Keisha names. It doesn't mean I'm going to attack her personally just because I support the other guy. And I think that's where we are. And I think that's what my baptism of 2 weeks ago has put me in that position. I'm starting to see that the person across from me, black, white, Jew, Gentile, Republican, Democrat, young, old, male, female, that it's a human being that has issues, that have had issues, may be in love, may have gotten hurt, but that person is still a neighbor. And that's the key phrase. They're a neighbor. Whether they live in Lawrenceville, Kennesaw, city of Atlanta, they're still a neighbor. I can disagree with you. You can disagree with me. But we don't have to stop being neighborly. It's the Shelley Winter Show, 404-872-0750, 1-800-WSB-TALK.